The wounds of war. The final war between Earth and the Thalare Dominion lasted 9 years. It was a war that began over fear. Fear of the unknown, of alien power, and of extinction. Humanity's fleets had burned through the stars like wildfire, fueled by desperation and arrogance. The Thalare, a proud and ancient species of biosymbiotic beings, fought with weapons that grew, screamed, and bled. In the ruins of the red planet Eurus 4, a lone human soldier lay half-buried beneath the wreckage of a crashed troop carrier. His name was Captain Elias Rourke, veteran of 5 campaigns, survivor of a dozen impossible battles, and one of the last of the Earth's ground command. Blood filled his helmet. Oxygen alarms blinked red. His comms were dead. Around him, the battlefield was silent except for the faint whisper of wind over shattered hulls. Rourke struggled to crawl free. His left arm limp, armor cracked, the pain so sharp it dulled his thoughts. But as he dragged himself through the ash and twisted metal, he saw movement, something alive. At first, he reached for his sidearm, expecting another Thalare warrior. But what he saw was not an enemy soldier. It was her, the alien queen. She lay on her side, her silver-blue skin glowing faintly beneath a torn exosymbiotic gown. Her crown of bone and living crystal was shattered, one eye swollen shut. Strange liquid, bioluminescent and green, pooled beneath her. She was dying. Rourke froze. Every briefing, every order, every headline from Earth screamed at him to finish the job, to end her and the war. But when she turned her single open eye toward him, there was no hatred, only a silent, wordless plea. Something inside him shifted. He had seen too much death. Too many innocents lost. Too many orders that turned soldiers into butchers. The queen's breathing hitched. Her voice, a whisper of multiple tones, emerged through the air. Human, soldier, my world burns. Yours will follow. The blood war must end. He crawled closer. Her wounds were deep, organic tissue shredded by plasma burns. She would die within minutes without help. I can't, he muttered. You're the enemy. Her gaze softened. Are you not dying too? He laughed bitterly. Yeah. Guess that makes us equals. The medgel pack in his armor was nearly empty. His oxygen was running out. He had 2 options. Wait for rescue that would never come or... He stared at his injector, then at her wounds. Human blood, she whispered. It binds. Your iron carries the spark. He didn't understand her words, but instinct or perhaps fate guided him. He tore off his gauntlet, pressed the injector to his arm, and drew his own blood. Then, trembling, he poured it into the queen's wounds. Her body convulsed, a flash of green and crimson light erupting where his blood met her flesh. The ground trembled. He heard voices, ancient, distant, whispering through the air. Then everything went black. Part 2. The Queen's Awakening. Rourke woke in a place that wasn't the battlefield. The air was humid, shimmering with spores that drifted like floating embers. The walls pulsed faintly, alive, breathing. He sat up. His wounds were gone. His armor was repaired, though altered. The metal had fused with an organic sheen, almost as if the Thalare technology had consumed it. And in front of him stood the queen, alive. Her form towered above him, sleek, radiant, crowned once more with regrown crystalline horns. Her eyes glowed with dual irises, one the deep violet of her species, the other flickering with faint amber, the color of human eyes. You, live, she said, her voice echoing both in the air and in his mind. You gave your blood, Captain Elias Rourke. You have bound yourself to the Thalare throne. He struggled to find words. Where am I? You are within the heart chamber of the mother world, she said softly. Our sacred cradle. You healed me. And when your blood touched mine, the symbiosis took hold. Rourke frowned. Symbiosis. She stepped closer, her expression unreadable. Your essence fused with mine. You are part of the royal genome now. The Thalare recognize you as kin. He staggered back. That's impossible. And yet, she said, raising her hand. The veins in her wrist pulsed, glowing red for a moment. His blood still flowing through her. It is done. He looked around. The room pulsed like a heart. The floor beneath him was not metal but living tissue. Every breath he took seemed to synchronize with the rhythm of the walls. The queen watched him in silence before speaking again. When your armies destroyed our outposts, my people struck back. Both sides slaughtered millions. But your act, it is something our legends once foretold. Legends? He asked. She nodded. A union of blood, alien and human. The merging of enemies to end the cycle of extinction. I did not believe it. Until now. Rourke laughed bitterly. You think me some kind of savior. I think, she said, you are the bridge between our worlds. And for that, my people must not harm you. But outside the living walls, Rourke could already hear them. The growls, the claws against flesh-metal corridors. Thalare soldiers. He saw their silhouettes through the translucent barrier. Six-limbed, armored, fierce. Your soldiers don't seem to agree, he said. They smell your blood, she whispered. But they also smell mine upon you. They are confused. Suddenly, a booming voice echoed through the chamber. My queen, you cannot protect the human. He is the butcher of Tethris. The murderer of our kin. The queen's expression darkened. He is under royal protection. Then the throne is compromised, the voice thundered. The queen's eyes flickered with sorrow. Then we are already lost. Part 3, The Blood Oath. That night, the palace trembled with dissent. Rourke stood at the balcony beside the queen, overlooking the bioluminescent city below. The Thalare capital was like nothing he had ever seen. A living metropolis of coral towers, glowing rivers of plasma, and airborne leviathans that pulsed like stars. You realize, he said quietly, that your people might kill you for saving me. She smiled faintly. A queen's life is nothing if it cannot serve her people's future. He turned to her. Then why risk it? She met his gaze. Because I saw the truth in your blood, Elias Rourke. You fight not for conquest, but for survival. And so do we. Perhaps we are both prisoners of the same fear. He couldn't argue with that. The war had started because humanity feared extinction. The Thalare feared assimilation. And between those fears, billions had died. The queen extended her hand. If we are to end this, the council must accept you. They must see that human blood now flows with Thalare essence. You will come before them as my bond brother, recognized by the throne. Bond brother. It means one who shares royal blood. It is a title sacred to our kind. He hesitated. And if they reject me? Her eyes glimmered. Then we both die. Part 4. The Council of Thalare. The council chamber was carved from the heart of a living mountain, veins of light pulsing beneath its translucent walls. 12 elder Thalare sat in a circle, their bodies adorned with bio-crystals that resonated with the throne's heartbeat. As Rourke entered, silence fell. Every gaze turned toward him, mixtures of awe, rage, and disbelief. The eldest among them, High Chancellor Trexian, rose. You bring a human here. Into the sacred circle. The queen bowed her head. He gave his blood to save me. The throne recognizes him. The throne recognizes no abomination. Trexian spat. He is tainted. His kind rains fire upon our worlds. Rourke's fists clenched, but he stayed silent. The queen's tone turned cold. Without him I would be dead. The royal line would be broken. Our enemies would devour us all. The throne's prophecy, cried another counselor. It speaks of the Red Star's blood uniting with the Azure Queen. Perhaps this is the omen. The chamber erupted in debate. Voices overlapped, some pleading for peace, others calling for execution. Rourke finally stepped forward. Enough. Every head turned toward him. I didn't come here to rule. I didn't come here to be worshipped. I came because I'm tired of watching both our species die. If my blood can stop that, then use me. If not, kill me and end it now. Silence. The queen's gaze softened, and slowly she stepped beside him. She raised her hand, pressing her palm to a glowing pillar in the center of the chamber. The heartstone, the living core of the throne. The stone pulsed, scanning their combined essence. For a moment it glowed crimson and azure, human and thalare, and then a third color emerged, gold. A voice, ancient, vast, and resonant, filled the chamber. The bond is true. The blood of two worlds beats as one. The throne recognizes the human. Gasps filled the hall. Some bowed. Others fled in horror. Trexian's voice shook. You doom us all. The queen turned to Rourke. From this moment, you are bound to the throne, Elias Rourke. You are Thalare in blood, and royal by right. Part 5, Fire and Betrayal. Peace, however, did not come easily. Within days, factions of Thalare extremists, those who could not accept the bond, launched a rebellion. Bioships rose against the capital, bombarding the palace. Rourke fought alongside the Queen's royal guard, wielding a living weapon that had fused with his arm, a symbiotic blade that pulsed with both their energies. The skies burned once more. Your people won't stop until I'm dead, he shouted over the roar of explosions. And mine won't stop until they see what we can become, the Queen replied, summoning waves of energy from the throne itself. The final assault came from within. Trexian himself led the coup, storming the palace with warriors chanting for purification. Rourke met him in the throne chamber. The elder's armor writhed with tendrils of black biosteel, his weapon glowing like a dark sun. You should have died on that battlefield, human, Trexian snarled. Maybe, Rourke said, igniting his blade. But I didn't. And that's your problem. Their clash was brutal, metal and flesh colliding in a storm of sparks and blood. The throne itself trembled under their blows. Trexian struck him across the chest, shattering armor. Rourke fell coughing blood. But before the killing strike could fall, the Queen intervened, her body glowing with golden energy. She stepped between them, her voice echoing through every Thalare mind across the planet. No more blood. No more fear. The war ends tonight. Trexian roared and lunged, impaling her through the chest. Time froze. The throne screamed, a sound that shattered the walls. Rourke caught her as she fell, her blood, now tinged with red, flowing freely. Elias, she whispered. The bond will live on. Protect them. Protect both our worlds. Her hand trembled as she pressed it to his heart. The throne's light enveloped them both. When the light faded, Trexian and his followers were gone, disintegrated. The palace lay in ruins, and Rourke stood alone, glowing with golden veins of energy. Part 6. The throne recognizes him. Weeks passed. The war ended. Word spread across both human and Thalare space. The alien queen was dead, but in her place stood a being who bore both her lineage and humanity's courage. The throne had chosen him as regent of the dual bloodline. First he refused. He was a soldier, not a ruler. But when he saw the faces of the children, the Thalare younglings no longer afraid of humans, the human colonists no longer firing upon alien ships, he realized her sacrifice could not be in vain. From the palace balcony, he looked out upon the reborn city. The skies glowed gold now, not red. His reflection shimmered in the window, his eyes glowing faintly violet and amber. A holographic message blinked to life beside him. The human fleet commander's face appeared, weary and cautious. "Captain Rourke," the admiral said, "we received your transmission. Are you saying the Thalare surrendered?" Rourke smiled faintly. "No, we're not enemies anymore. The war's over. There's nothing left to surrender." The admiral hesitated. "And the queen?" Rourke looked toward the throne. "She lives, in every breath this world takes." When the transmission ended, he stood before the throne once more. The living crystal pulsed gently beneath his hand, resonating with his heartbeat. A familiar voice, soft, melodic, echoed in his mind. "You kept your promise, Elias Rourke." He closed his eyes. "I miss you." "I am not gone," the voice whispered. "I am within you, within all who bear our bond. The throne will guide you now." He took a deep breath, then turned toward the assembled council. "My queen once said the blood war must end," he said, his voice steady. "So it shall. From this day forward, there will be no Thalare or human, only those who carry the blood of peace." The council bowed. The city roared with song. And as the twin suns rose over the horizon, Rourke felt a warmth deep within his chest, the shared heartbeat of two worlds, forever bound by one man's choice to save the enemy instead of killing her. Epilogue. The legacy of blood. Centuries later, historians would write of the blood oath of Eurus IV, the moment that changed the fate of two civilizations. They would say it began with a single act of compassion in a wasteland of war. But the truth was simpler. It began with a soldier who refused to let hatred win. And though the galaxy would one day forget his battles, they would never forget his name. Elias Rourke, the human who gave his blood to save the alien queen, and became the king of two worlds.